ورسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول كل بدعة ضلالة.
Question here: what do you say about those who say that the terms Mumayyi'ah and other terms similar to that, such as saying that he is a Salafi but has errors, or he is a Salafi and he's unclear and so on, that people say that these terms are bid'ah? As for the term he is a Salafi but not clear and so on, these types of terms, I don't know them, and I do not know, Allahu A'lam, about the scholars using those terms. As for the term Mumayyi'ah, then for sure it is a term that is used. As for saying that it is a term that is bid'ah, then that is like saying that the term Mu'tazila is bid'ah, and the term Ash'ariyya is bid'ah, meaning that when the scholars they say that the Ash'ariyya and the Asha'ira, that they are upon misguidance, that this is a term that the scholars have invented for them and it is a bid'i term. Or when the scholars say that such and such a group are a group who have, for example, that they are a group of tasawwuf or Sufiyya or Jahmiyya or Kullabiyya or Lafdhiyya, that these terms that the scholars have used over centuries to label Ahlul Bid'ah, then these are terms that describe the bid'ah that those people are upon. So for example, the scholars refer to those individuals who make ta'wilat and tahrif of the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that the scholars refer to them as the followers of Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari, and they are called the Asha'ira. Those who follow the deviations of Wasil bin Ata, and likewise those who are similar to him, that they refer to them as the Mu'tazila, because they split away, and they made i'tizal, and they split away from the durus and the circles of Al-Hasan al-Basri, rahimahullah ta'ala. And those who are referred to as the Lafdhiyya, because they used to say that our recitation of the Quran, the lafdh bil Quran, that it is makhluq, that our recitation of the Quran is makhluq. The scholars use these terms to describe those individuals who carried certain characteristics, and they describe them by the characteristic that they carried. So the Lafdhiyya, the Asha'ira, the Kullabiyya, the followers of Abdullah ibn Kullab, who used to deny and make ta'til and tahrif of the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as for the Mumayyi'ah and those who fall into Tamyi', then these are terms that are used by the scholars. And it was used by the likes of Shaykh Ahmed al-Najmi and Shaykh Rabi al-Madkhali and Ubayd al-Jabiri and Abdullah al-Bukhari and other than them from the ulama, referring to a group of people who wish to water down the manhaj al-Salafi and dilute it. And they say that the manhaj is manhaj wasi'. So they broaden the manhaj. That is the true bid'ah in reality. Those who wish to water down the manhaj of the Salaf, the manhaj of Imam Ahmad, and that which Ahmad was upon, and Barbahari was upon, and the likes of Fudayl ibn Iyad, and Sufyan al-Thawri, and al-Awza'i, and Abdullah ibn al-Mubarak. Those who wish to water down the manhaj and the stance of Ahlul Sunnah and Ahlul Hadith against Ahlul Bid'ah from the Salaf, those who wish to water down that methodology, this term refers to them. They are the ones who are watering down the methodology of Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah. Like for example, Ali al-Halabi saying that we are not compelled. When Ahlul Bid'ah, when he mentions that when Shaykh Rabi speaks against a person, or Shaykh Ubaid, or any of the ulama, dalil or no dalil, regardless, that no one is compelled up until there is ijma', up until there is consensus. So then the scholar said, where did you get this principle from? From where have you got this principle? Do you find this in the books of the Salaf? In the books of Jarh wa Ta'dil? In the books of the sciences of Hadith? Do you find this principle upon the tongues of the early Salaf? That we will not accept a rad, and we will not accept a refutation of a person who has deviated from the Salafi manhaj up until there is ijma', and you cannot compel us. Shaykh Ubaid, Hafidhahullah ta'ala, in his refutation of Ali al-Halabi, when he put him on the spot with regard to this issue, he said, where did you bring this qa'idah? Where did you get this from? When has it ever been the principle or anything from the principles of Ahlul Sunnah that there must be an ijma or a consensus before you can refute someone? He said, rather what compels you is the dalil, is the adillah. So when the likes of Shaykh Rabi used this term, that they are the Mumayyi'ah, that these are people of tamyi', that they water down the methodology because they want to accommodate, they want to make the manhaj wasi'. As Abu al-Hasan said, that our manhaj is a broad manhaj. It accommodates everyone. So much so that he said that the manhaj of Ahlul Sunnah, the manhaj of Ahlul Sunnah accommodates Ikhwan al-Muslimin and Jamaat al-Tabligh. This is nothing more and nothing less than that which Abdul Rahman Abdul Khaliq used to say 20 years ago. When he said all of the jama'at, that all of them are aiding Islam upon a different front. Jamaat al-Tabligh, ibadah. Hizb al-Tahrir, khilafa. Ikhwan al-Muslimin, the politics and the parliaments. The Dawat al-Salafiyya, Tawheed and Sunnah. And all of them have a role to play. Same thing he used to say. And what they're doing is nullifying the clarity of Da'wat al-Salafiyya. Nullifying in essence the hadith of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The hadith of iftiraq. As the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, سَتَفْتَرِكُ هَذِهِ الْأُمَّةِ عَلَى 73 فِرْقَةٍ. This ummah will divide upon or into 73 sects. كُلُّهَا فِي النَّارِ. All of them into the hellfire except for one. What they're doing is that they're nullifying these hadith and they're saying actually when you look at the firqatul wahida or the firqatul najiyah that is saved, that this firqa actually has many firq within it. Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah. This is the da'wah of Abdul Rahman Abdul Khaliq. This is the da'wah of Abu al-Hasan al-Ma'rabi. This is the da'wah of these types of individuals who say that Ahlul Sunnah actually can accommodate many different factions. Within Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah, you can have Jamaat Ikhwan al-Muslimin, Jamaat al-Tabligh, the Qutubiyin, the Sururiyin, and all of these other Jama'at. These Mumayyi'ah that have appeared now over the last 10-15 years, the likes of Abu al-Hasan, and Abu Hasan has crimes against the usul of Dawat al-Salafiyya. And likewise Ali al-Halabi, what they're trying to do, and this is why they hate this term, tamyi' and Mumayyi'ah. They say, no, don't use these terms. From those who also criticize these terms, term is Ibrahim Ruhaili. He says, where you get this term from? It doesn't exist. We don't know this term. So up until the term Sururi, was there a term Sururi? The followers of Muhammad Zain al-Abidin or Muhammad Surur Zain al-Abidin. The Sururiya is a term that is 20 years old, over the last 20 years. So is that a bid'ah also? That all of the scholars they use. The Qutubiyin, the followers of Sayyid Qutb. Turathiyin. Those who are blinded by the innovations and deviations of Ihya al-Turath al-Islami. So the Mumayyi'ah are part and parcel of that methodology that calls to the unification of the sects. That let us overlook our mistakes, like Hassan al-Banna used to say. The qaida of Ikhwan al-Muslimin. Let us unite upon that which we agree, and let us excuse each other over that which we differ. The da'wah of Abu al-Hasan is that da'wah. Unification of the sects. That's why he said what he said about the elections in Egypt, the Salafiyun, that they should unite with the sects in order to get into power. When he was asked about Osama bin Laden, he said, I can't say Osama bin Laden is not Salafi. He said, let me correct the words that he used. He said, I cannot say that Osama bin Laden is outside of Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah, as I do not know. I have not seen any proof. And I don't know if any proof was established against him. This is Abu al-Hasan al-Ma'rabi. The accommodation of the various jama'at and the firq and the sects, bringing them together. Ali al-Halabi no different. So this is what they do when you ask them about Muhammad, when you ask them about Safar al-Hawali, they say he's from Ahlul Sunnah. Ask him about Salman al-Awda, Ahlul Sunnah. Ikhwan al-Muslimin, Ahlul Sunnah. Osama bin Laden, Ahlul Sunnah. Because this is now the gathering and the unification of the firq. And who is behind it? This sect here, the Mumayyi'ah. So when we say that you people are Mumayyi'een, that you are the Mumayyi'ah, they get offended. So therefore, my brothers and sisters, this sect is there. And if the glove fits, then they have to wear it. And it fits them. Because when you ask them about the sects, when you ask them about the various groups whom the scholars have spoken about, and I mentioned some of the contradictions that they have, the tanaqud in their da'wah. And I mentioned it yesterday, that one minute they'll say that we're waiting for an ijma'. Then when you say that the ijma' of the salaf is to make hajr from Ahlul Bid'ah, this is the ijma', they say no, you can take the good and leave the evil. Even when the ijma' comes, in clear-cut issues, they won't abandon Ahlul Bid'ah. Then they say that we are not people of taqleed, like Abu al-Hassan and Ali al-Halabi used to say, and they still say, that we don't make taqleed of anybody, we wait for the dalil. So we say, okay, here's the dalil. Here's the evidence, here's the proofs. They say, well, one isn't enough. Well, here's 25 evidences against them. What more do you want? No, now we want ijma'. No matter which angle you come from, they slip out. Why? Because they are the ones who are the people of the broad manhaj. Not the manhaj al-Salafi. Because the manhaj al-Salafi is the manhaj of the Prophet ﷺ and his Sahaba radiyallahu anhum. And what they were upon. And that which they passed on to the tabi'een and the atba'u tabi'een. This is their methodology. Anyone who leaves that methodology, broadens that path in the name of sunnah, in the name of salafiyah. And they say that salafiyah accommodates all of these groups. This is where this group of people, the people of Tamir', this is where the scholars have refuted them and they continue to refute them. So they don't like the term, but the term is there and it fits them. So therefore, my brothers and sisters, yes, it does exist. Barakallahu feekum.